Hi, and welcome back to another session of Ask Kimberly. Today I have questions that you guys have submitted to me through Facebook and the blog and Instagram and Twitter. And again, I've picked out a few that I think are really interesting for a lot of you. And we'll just get right into it. The first question comes from Amanda Phillips Sherritt. And she writes, I am really low in potassium, and besides eating bananas, what's a really good way to increase my potassium intake? So great question, Amanda. I have some general foods for you based on our whole beauty detox plan, which is whole plant foods. So the first easy way to increase your potassium is dark leafy greens. And of course, we know the best way to get them in besides salads is your glowing green smoothie. Spinach is particularly great in potassium. So every day you're throwing a couple handfuls of spinach in your GGS, and that will really help to balance your potassium, your electrolyte levels. Now we're going into fall. Acorn squash is another food that's really great, really high in potassium. So you can try my squash bisque recipe and beauty detox solution. It's delicious. I tend to make a huge vat of it and eat it throughout the week. I'll have it for dinner. I'll heat it up sometimes for lunch. So check that out. Mushrooms are also another great food high in potassium, so you can try tossing some throughout your salads and your stir fries, as are avocados. So instead of using oils in your kale and your other salads, try just mashing in some avocado as a natural fat source to add denseness and to add a nice creaminess and to get some potassium. Great question. And the next one comes from Krista Sayer. And she writes, I cannot make it from breakfast until lunch without a snack. What are some good suggestions? So this is a great question. A lot of us get up early and there's a really long stretch between the morning and lunch, and you absolutely need to eat something in between, which is great. Especially if you're active, especially if you, again, woke up really early or you worked out in the morning. So first thing is to make sure you start the day in a good, clean note. Start with your hot water with lemon. Get the glowing green smoothie into your body. Now, depending on what phase you're in, what you eat in between lunch and dinner, breakfast and lunch, can shift. For someone like me that's been eating this way for quite a few years, I have a lot of glowing green smoothie now. I'll tend to have a second or even a third glass mid-morning, so I'm really just having that all morning. For some of us, they need to choose something. So if you are a radiant beauty or a true beauty, you can have some fresh fruit in between. Some really fiber-rich, some apples, some pineapple, some berries. Blueberries are fantastic. You can have some fruit after your GGS. You can also, if you need something heartier, oatmeal is a really great option. Some steel cut or some oat groats would be really fantastic. Cooked in water, of course, not dairy, and you can sprinkle some cinnamon on top, and that can feel really hearty and delicious. So these are some great options. I would keep it low fat. I would keep animal protein out of the morning, which would be too slow. But there are definitely some really great options for you as you get hungry throughout the morning. Next question says, does anyone know, this comes from Bridget Trama, and she writes, does anyone know why avocado is not recommended to use in the GGS? Great question. So the glowing green smoothie is made primarily about 70% of dark leafy green vegetables, a whole variety. The spinach, you can put kale, you can put chard, you can put the leafy dark romaine, and then the other 30% is made up of ripe fruit and also lemon juice. So with this formula for our go-to GGS, 1 glass has a tremendous amount of nutrients. The fruits are what I call the cleansers. They're helping to clean out your system. They have all the fruit acids to clean you out. They have a ton of different vitamins. They've got a lot of fiber. And then the greens are the rebuilders. They have all the minerals. They help to rebuild your blood and help to rebuild your system. And the lemon, the citrus component, is really important just to add burst even more vitamin C to help your body absorb that non-heme iron, that plant-based iron in the greens. So that's our formula to have every day. A 16-ounce glass has about almost 14 grams of fiber. So it helps to keep you satiated and to keep you stable as you're going through. And the amount of your GGS depends on many different factors. It depends on how long you've been doing beauty detox. It depends on what else is in your diet. But to answer your question, the reason we don't put avocado in is because to put avocado in is to add a dense fat. And we want the cleaners and the rebuilders to get into your system. It has a cleansing component. The GGS is part of our ongoing cleansing or ongoing detoxification that we do every day. So avocados are fantastic, but we need to eat them later in the day, to eat them separate, so it doesn't slow down and it doesn't change the function of the GGS. Avocados work really great in salads. They work really great, especially in the kale salad. You can have them for lunch or dinner, but throughout the morning, anytime you're having the GGS, just keep it simple. Keep it the fruits, the vegetables, and the lemon, and that's the way to go. Okay, next question comes from another one from Krista Sire. I like your questions, Krista, because we just answered your question earlier, but you also asked, anyone know how long you could keep cooked quinoa in the fridge for? So this is a great question, and this is so important too. Quinoa is an amazing food to help you stay prepared and to help you get through the week, even when you're rushed, even when you're busy, even when you don't have time to shop every day and make really elaborate recipes. So I say about 5 days to a week. It keeps well. Keep it covered in an airtight container. Keep it cool in the fridge. If you're home, a lot of times my fiance and I will just heat it up really quick and throw it over a salad, throw it over some veggies. It can be very simple, or you can take it to work. I think it tastes great cold. You don't necessarily have to heat it up. So 5 to 7 days. This is something I absolutely do all the time, is to make a big batch so you are prepared and you can have the quinoa throughout the week. And do remember, before you make the big batch, just to throw in water, soak it the night before, and rinse it. That way it helps to make it even more nutritious and easily digestible. So last question comes from Claudia Ring, and she writes, I'm just wondering, I really don't like stevia. Anyone else feel the same? Any suggested substitutions in Kimberly's recipes? So, I get this question, this topic comes up a lot. There's many different forms of stevia. Stevia is a whole plant. It can be made into powdered forms. Some are more bitter than others. There's a brand I like called New Naturals, which tends to not be bitter, and I use a little bit of that. But if you don't like it at all and you want to avoid it, that's totally fine. There's also raw coconut nectar, which is a liquid sweetener, which works really well in certain recipes. You can substitute it in dressings. There's also something called lucuma. It's a powder from South America as well. It has a different flavor profile, so you can see if you like that better. Sometimes for different specific smoothies, you can add in a little bit of dried fruit. A couple of dates can work really well if you're not a blossoming beauty. And these are some different sweetener options. You definitely don't have, I always encourage you don't have to follow every single ingredient in every single recipe. You can play with things and mix and match and use what feels good, what tastes good to you, so you are more apt to stick to eating the healthy foods and the healthy recipes. So I hope you guys liked our session. I hope this was helpful, and keep asking me your questions, because maybe next time I will answer yours. Thank you so much.